Welcome everyone. As always, I encourage comments to my videos. Just no stupid hate. Any stupid hate and you will be blocked. Sri Lanka authorities warned of Easter church bombings week before Sunday's massacre, officials say. So weeks before, the coordinated bombings ripped through the churches and luxury hotels, killing nearly 300 people on Easter Sunday. Authorities in Sri Lanka received warnings of domestic racial Muslim group would attack the nation on the Christian holy day. Despite multiple warnings from international intelligence agency, however, Sri Lanka's security officials reportedly failed to heed any alerts and apparently took no action to protect against any potential attack. They were first alerted of the threat on April 4. At least 290 people, including 39 foreigners, were killed and more than 500 were injured. That's shameful. Very shameful. That's offensive, really. Everything's offensive here. The bombing is offensive. I don't care what religion or what culture you are. Don't blow shit up. Very simple. At the same time, don't allow anything to be blown up. Don't allow for people to die. So just a very terrible, awful, and apparently preventable, or somewhat preventable anyway, incident. Of course, a lot of these countries are going to have to deal with this sort of problem for a long time. A lot of countries that have allowed dissidents, bad people into their country, people with different ideas, cultures, religions, etc., and no commonality. We've been talking about that for a long time. You can read my previous, especially my first two videos. I don't mean to stress that too much, but give you a baseline of what's going on and why it's happening. In America, let me read something to you. Neither the Constitution nor the state law imposes a general duty upon police officers or other governmental officials to protect individual persons from harm, even when they know harm will occur. That is shocking to a lot of people. You think that these government agencies, the police, FBI, CIA, whoever, must protect us, but actually there's no constitutional duty at all for them to do that. Police can watch someone attack you, refuse to intervene, and not violate the Constitution. Supreme Court has repeatedly held that the government has only a duty to protect persons who are in custody. So only people that are breaking the law, that are in custody, must be protected, but not people, not good people. So in addition to the fact that they don't have to protect us, they also want to take away our right to protect ourselves. Not a good mixture. Of course, that's already been proven. Look at all the liberal cities like that have the most strict gun laws, Baltimore, San Fran, places like that. They're just shitholes. So something to think about. And you know what? What's interesting too is when someone does sue the federal government, let's say they screw up somehow, either negligently or what have you, and there is a cause of action, people generally will be like celebratory. They'll say, yeah, good, you got them. But who are they suing? Who are they getting? Well, they're getting you, the taxpayer. So next time you applaud such a thing, and I don't care what it is, discrimination, civil rights, whatever, they win millions of dollars. Yeah, oh, great. No, that's not good. That's your money, your tax money. That's supposed to go to your schools, take care of your roads. Instead, it's going to that person who sued the government because the government screwed up. But what's even more sad, of course, as you know, sometimes the government doesn't even screw up. But just to avoid any confrontation with someone who might be saying that there was discrimination or something like that, the government often just pays them. We don't want that conflict. We don't want that advertisement. We don't want that news story out there that we might have done something to offend someone. So let's just pay them money, taxpayer money. So think twice maybe next time you think of applauding someone who's taking your money. Oh, well, welcome to all the new people. I've been friending people. People have been friending me. And sorry if I haven't had a chance to respond to everything. Too busy working, paying my taxes, and trying to do this show. So, got a lot going on. Bill de Blasio, that New York nutcase. He says the Green New Deal will ban steel and glass skyscrapers. So I got this article here, Bill de Blasio. But what's interesting though, I'm going through it right here. We're going to ban, this is what it says, quote, we're going to ban classic glass and steel skyscrapers, which are incredibly inefficient. So I'm looking through the article. I'm like, wow, they're going to get rid of steel and glass skyscrapers. What the hell are they going to make them out of? You know, I mean, I'm thinking about the 9/11 and, you know, we need steel. We need something strong America, especially with, you know, with what's going on. We need to defend ourselves. I'm thinking, wow, what are they going to make this thing out of? Aluminum? Or I was just like, wow, what's it going to be? And so I'm looking through here, and there's nothing in here at all. They don't talk at all about what they're going to make the buildings out of. So maybe they're just going to tear them all down and we're just going to live in teepees or something. Back to the old ways. Okay. Most illegal immigration in U.S. receive government benefits, costing taxpayers billions. That's the title. A fair study in 2017 found illegal immigrants are a net consumer of taxpayer benefits worth more than $100 billion a year, not including the cost of enforcing the border. So the left was making a big stink about $5 billion to put up a barrier, fix the wall. And illegal immigrants are costing $100 billion a year. And that doesn't include the money that we spend enforcing our border. Under federal law, hospitals and clinics are required to provide urgent medical care without regard to legal status. U.S. officials expect a million additional illegal immigrants this year. The border is currently apprehending up to 4,000 people a day. Most will claim asylum, entitling them to government benefits. That's just friggin' great. The U.S. Polish ambassador to Poland. Nice place, Poland. U.S. Polish ambassador. U.S. Polish ambassador said, "Happy Easter and happy Passover." The Poles' response was, "Only Catholics live in Poland. And Christ died and was resurrected also for you, pagans and traitorous Jews." Wow. Happy Easter. So I'm in my car earlier today, and I caught Jake Tapper on my Sirius XM. It's pretty good. You know, I get to listen to Fox, and, well, Fox is okay. I kind of have a problem with them, too. Maybe I'll talk about them a little later. But CNN, they're just unbelievable. The hate out of these people, the fear-mongering, the lies. It's just incredible. So anyway, Jake Tapper, he was ragging on a Trump associate. You know, he's flying through these bogus claims, bang, 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 in this fear-mongering way, just like that guy Zakarie, which I'm going to talk about shortly. He has this way of talking, like everything he says, it's like you think it's the end of the world. You know, he might say something like, Trump passed a law giving you $20 a day. Yeah, it's great. Trump passed the law, you're going to get $20 a day more from, from your taxes or something. But he says it in a way that it's like, it's a terrible, awful thing. Well, it's not. It was a great thing. But everything he says out of his mouth, it just comes out like it's some kind of like the devil, this guy. So anyway, he's ragging on a Trump associate. And one of the things he said was, Trump campaign is against equal pay for female athletes. And he goes right to the next one. Okay. He's saying they're against equal pay for female athletes. Oh, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that the WNBA players must be paid the same amount as the NBA players? Is that what that means? I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. That's crazy. Think about that. I mean, no one watches well, some people watch it. Nothing against the WNBA. Nothing against women. Love women. Love the WNBA. I just don't watch them all that much. I don't think their ratings are as high as the NBA. I just don't think there's as much money to pay them as in the NBA. So how can you pay them as much money? Or what else could that possibly? Does that mean that all people maybe in the WNBA have to be paid the same thing? I don't think they'd like that. The stars of the WNBA don't want to be paid the same amount as a bench player or someone like that. I don't think they would want that. Maybe that could mean all WNBA players must be paid the same amount as all NBA players, so that all players on WNBA and NBA, whether they're starters or bench players, all players must be paid the same amount. It's just insane. I mean, think about that, how socialistic that is. And I mean, what's next? I mean, all players will get a participation trophy. Just get rid of the playoffs altogether. Just give them participation trophies and pay them all the same and say, well, you're all wonderful people. It takes away from competition. Anyway, Jake Tapper. Yeah. Anyone who talks like this, they just with that fear-mongering, quick one-liners, bang, 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 and pay attention to what they're saying. You'll see that Jake Tapper is one of the stupidest people I've ever known in my lifetime. But I'm not going to say anything bad about him. George Stephanopoulos, can't even say it. I was watching him, or a replay of him pressing Sarah Sanders on the Mueller report and saying that there's a culture of lying at the White House. I mean, here's a White House who's just very open about everything. Press conferences all the time. Trump is just, it's just incredible on how he answers questions about anything, and he welcomes people to ask him questions. So Stephanopoulos, however, he showed a clip from a press conference, one of those gotcha things, and he says, where Sarah Sanders says that countless members of the FBI had lost confidence in the FBI director, James Comey, which led to his firing. Well, that's 100% true. Exactly how many there were, well, we don't really know, because the FBI rank and file are not going to come out and there's no poll, and they're not going to admit that, So she kind of backed down. And Sarah, don't do that. There were countless. As a matter of fact, I even looked up the word countless. And it does not mean infinite amount, okay? So Sarah didn't have an exact count. It wasn't an infinite amount. But let's look at some synonyms for countless. Uncounted, many, mucho, pile, slew, wad. Well, yeah, you know what? There was a wad. There was an uncounted mucho wad of FBI that lost confidence in Comey. I can guarantee it. And Sarah, next time, just say to him that you were right, because you were. Fareed Zakarie. Told you I'd get to him. This isn't CNN here. Yeah, what a loser. Again, fear-mongering to its highest level. So he says, Trump appointees are slavish devotion to Trump. Trump appointees slavish devotion to Trump. Then he goes on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. Well, slavish devotion to Trump. I mean, I don't see that at all. I mean, there's turnover there. There's disagreement. It's open. It's all but slavish devotion. I'd like to work there. There'd be some slavish devotion if I was there. But he wouldn't really be slavish, because I'd be willing participant, because everything he does is perfect. It wouldn't be like I have to, be doing something or saying something that I disagree with. It'd be just the opposite. I'm short sleeved today. Hope I'm not offending anyone. Fareed Zakarie. India's leader using the country's money to buy votes of farmers. Oh my God. Really? What is that? What am I going to do? Well, if anything, that sounds like Obama, first of all. Secondly, maybe that's okay there? I mean, how does that impact me? What's the deal, Fareed Zakarie? It's just one of those stupid, listen to these people when they talk, these things that they say. So he said, Trump appointees slavish. India's leader is using money to buy the votes of farmers. Boom, boom, boom. And he says, federal banks, this is America now, back to America. Federal banks' power is eroding and will be unable to respond to a crisis. Well, first of all, that's not true. I mean, I do have more faith in our country's economy and the banking and everything right now, much more than I did when Obama was in there. It's the highest level of confidence that I've seen in years. So, it's not true. But also, I mean, weren't these the people that are saying that the banks have too much power and we need to take the power away from the banks? So, again, it's just stupid fear-mongering. Say something in this demented way to make you, in this devilish, demented way to make you think that there's something wrong, when really, I mean, there isn't. It's good news. I mean, the federal banks' power has been eroded. They've been saying that the banks had too much power before, and they don't quite have as much anymore. So great. India's leader is using the country's money to buy votes of farmers. Maybe the farmers need some help, and I don't know if that's doesn't really affect me. I don't. Trump appointees are slavish. They're slavish. Give me a break. I'm a loser. So you might have heard me before say, don't ax me. Well, anyway, a guy in Brooklyn, he axed his girlfriend. But she's in critical condition. She's still alive, but her pregnant friend was decapitated. So the baby was murdered also. So this guy says he was psychopathic, bipolar, paranoid, and doesn't remember the attack. Okay. Well, first of all, when you have a mental condition, if you have like any kind of mental condition, even if it's a temporary thing, like a concussion, or if it's a long-term thing, you ask a crazy person, are they crazy? And they're going to say no. So right away, mean, I don't prejudge people. I'm very suspicious though. Anyone that would just like, you just kill someone like, oh yeah, I'm psychopathic, I'm bipolar, I'm paranoid, and I don't remember axing those people. Oh, okay, sure, then you should go free, right? But how about this though? How about the proposition that anyone who would kill anyone has got to be crazy, right? So if that's the case, then they should all go free because they were crazy. It's an interesting way of looking at things. Well, look at it this way. Let's say you kill one person, okay? It's a pretty good chance you're going to jail and you're not going to get away with saying that you're crazy. But what if you killed 5 people? Still, you're not going to probably get away with it because you just killed 5 people. But what if you killed 10 people and you ate them? Oh, you have to be crazy. So you go free. Or you just go in for some mental treatment for a while until you pass the test. And you'll be able to pass the test because you really weren't crazy to begin with anyway. And then you pass the test showing that you're not crazy anymore, and then they release you. So, yeah, that's one way to beat the crazy thing. Just eat your victim. Or better, victims. Eat your victims. Just kill more and eat them, and then you can go free. But getting back to, the proposition that anyone, and no one in their sane mind would kill someone. That's how good people think. Well, if that's true, then anyone that does kill someone must have some kind of mental problem. So therefore, anyone who kills someone should be set free because they had a mental problem. No. If you have a mental problem, even more dangerous to society. Cartel member leads Mexican authorities to secret mass grave. So here's in Mexico. Oh, Mexico. So they're just digging up mass graves. They don't know how many. Culture. Bangladesh student burned to death by fellow students for reporting sexual harassment by head teacher. Culture. So I encourage people to post comments on the video. And again, just no stupid hate. And I'll have to block you. But any kind of comment, I don't care where you think you stand. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about that. So, where you think you stand. Basically, if you're, whatever your ideas are, philosophical, political, religious, whatever. I mean, I'd love to hear from all sorts of different people, different views, and I'll try to comment. So I just want to go over a couple of comments that people have made. Maybe those people are watching. I don't know. But so my last show, or maybe this was a couple shows ago, I did this. Yeah, it was in my last show. I wore the Trump hat. There it is right here. Bang. Oh, there we go. Bang. And so Matthew says, USA tag on it? No, he says, oh, here it is. Where was it made? He says, where was it made? And so I responded, and right away, as soon as I got this, I just thought of CNN. right away. It's like watching Trump on his way to North Korea to stop nuclear proliferation, and he's talking to the reporters, and he talks about the economy and jobs and the wall and this and that and the other thing. Bang, 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 bang. Answer as many questions as he can, and he's like, "Okay, I gotta go. Jean-Ung is waiting for me. I have to save the world." And he jumps on the plane, and the reporter, and one of CNN's reporters will say, "Oh, he didn't talk about," and they'll come up with some stupid, irrelevant, small thing. And he'll say, "Oh, he's a racist. He didn't talk about this thing or this thing, whatever, some small little." You can't talk about everything. You can't talk about an infinite amount of topics, but that's what they'll do. Anyway, so Matthew says, "Where was it made?" And right away, I was like, all right. Well, so I replied to him, USA tag on it, got it from Trump campaign. So sorry, Matthew, keep trying. So Matthew says, "Keep trying, question mark, question mark. Just making sure he's using American stuff because he's known not to." So I respond, "I spoke about outsourcing in one of my videos. Child labor in China, stocking your local Target and Walmart stores supported by Obama." I had a whole series on, well, not a whole series, and I'm going to have a whole series on that, but I briefly talked about that in one of my videos, how Obama, the whole deal was to borrow money from China, have all their stuff imported here, tax-free, tariff-free, load up our stores with that China stuff, and then everyone would buy it, and he would take the money that he borrows from China and give it to the people so they can go buy the cheap stuff made in China from your Target and Walmart, and just keep the thing going, and we get further and further in debt. And anyway, so yeah, that's so I couldn't help but respond to him. And I spoke about outsourcing, and then I said I will do a feature on the economy soon. Have you bought anything made in China lately? And just making sure using American stuff because you've been known not to. I don't know him, but everyone is known to buy Chinese stuff because that's what Obama put in the stores. I know Matthew bought something from China. And my final reply to him is I look forward to future comments by you on this or other topics. And he didn't reply. Wonder why. I'm going to go over another. There's another one I did. It was called "You Are a Racist." I don't know if some of you seen that or not. I was looking at that video. I don't know if I was tired. I could have done a better job. But anyway, it wasn't too bad. But the whole thing was about fake racism being charged to good people. That's what the whole video was. It was pretty clear. I thought it was. I thought it got the point across that very good people are being accused of being racist just because they're not whacked out in the head. They're not socialists. They're not. There's a whole list of a whole bunch of things that I went through. They want secure borders, not closed borders, but just secure borders with big doors so good people can come in and think, "Oh, you're a racist." Remember that? So I go through this whole thing about the fact that people are not racists. That it's not a racist thing. I went to this whole thing about that we shouldn't be saying people are racist when they're not racist. Okay, well, Dean Blake says, "Hey, John, it's time people let go of all racist issues. This is mentally degrading. People who suffer racism don't want to be remembered. Remember I told you, God could not have created white flowers alone for his Garden of Eden. That is why he created people of all color." Well, I hope maybe you people can read the whole thing. I don't know if I should read the whole thing. Yeah, why not? I will. And then maybe you guys can post and tell me whether or not people don't like to read. So I'll read for you. But I'm going to read my response, and then maybe you guys can post and say whether or not this is accurate or good. Oh, by the way, yeah, right here. Is that kid's name? Matthew. Matthew. USA. USA. Dumbass. You know, accusing Trump, you know, oh, he's been known to do something. He's been known to do something. Just making sure he's using American stuff because he's been known not to. Well, yeah, duh. That was Obama's plan. That's what Obama put into action. Outsourcing everything, outsourcing our workers to China, buying everything from China. That was the whole deal. Blame Trump for that. He's ending that. He's putting tariffs on stuff that's coming from China into America. Trying to level the field. Of course, it's difficult going up against child labor, even though the left says they're for child labor. They support outsourcing and child labor materials and products coming in from China. Oh yeah, we're for children. Bullshit. Okay, sorry to swear. Was that offensive? Oh, offensive. Oh, I can't listen to myself. All right, yeah. So back to Dean Blake. Hey, John. It's time to let people. All right. So my response. Excuse me. Need a cigarette. The radical left and the media consistently bombard us with identity politics, making everything about race. They call everyone a racist that doesn't agree with their absurd ideas. They use intimidation and violence to prevent free speech. I post a video calling them out on their divisive ways. Dean Blake's answer. This is mentally degrading. People who suffer racism don't want to be reminded. Hey, Dean, did you watch the video? It isn't about you. This isn't about real racism. This is about fake accusations of racism, and you are buying into it. You are accepting false, fake racism, and you are dismissive of having any conversation about it. My video calls out the lies and constant bombardment of identity politics. My video calls out the race baiting and wrongful accusations of racism against good people. My video also calls out the suppression of free speech. I did and will talk about these issues. People need to know what's going on so the healing can begin. Wake up. You have been lied to by the media. Accepting these obvious media lies of racism is mentally degrading. Not calling out the media and all that disseminate these divisive hatred is mentally degrading. The false accusations of racism against good non-racist people is so obviously wrong. But Dean, even your brilliantly suggestive racial remarks towards me must stop. Certainly, I will not let them go unchallenged. And you're playing the victim of racism card is completely irrelevant to this topic. You're using the victim card is the problem, not the solution. Using irrelevant comments to somehow justify unjustifiable racial name-calling against good people or to prevent the calling out of this insanity will not work. Not here. Free speech and rational thought is our forum. Your attempt to stifle the conversation is offensive. Your comments are racist. In your defense, you have been lied to for years, and you and many others believe those lies. You are confused, but you are not alone. I hope you can figure it out. I am here if you want my help. Also, your comment that God could not ... was offensive, as most consider God's power to be limitless. So that was my response. Do you think that was a fair response or unfair response? I'd like to know. I think it was quite fair. I mean, if I go on for, wow, it was like almost an hour talking about fake racism charges that are being made by the media to divide America, to cause hatred. The whole point was that that people are not being racist. And then someone would make a post saying that, oh, what I'm doing is racist. We shouldn't talk about racism anymore. No, my whole point was that the media is saying it's racism, and when it's not, and they shouldn't be doing it. I'm just calling them out. By not calling them out, we're agreeing that we're all racists. I won't accept that. I have some, I think the people that are calling me or someone else racist are just whacked. Some of their ideas are so crazy. I go over them all the time. I mean, listen to this stuff that I just went over. Are you kidding me? Those people are going to say that about me or about my callers. That's shameful. Keep getting this call. It's really bothering me. I'm just going to turn my phone off. Zip. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's one thing I was talking about. I was talking earlier. I said something about where do you stand? You know, whether you're on the left or on the right. I'd like you to comment. I love comments. But people are being looked at or charged as being even being called racist and radicals and all this kind of stuff. People that are maybe they say are to the right. Well, let's get things straight here. There's different. There's political ideas, purely political ideas, and then there's like social ideas, okay? And then there's also economic ideas. So you can be maybe somewhat conservative on the economy. You can be conservative, but maybe on social ideas, you can be considered maybe, more liberal, okay? But what the media says and what we're being told is that you're supposed to be here. And they say that that's the middle. See if I can put that in the screen. Here you go. But I'm gonna get this back. This is your left, right? My right would be your left. But this is really normality. This is normal thinking. This is like Trump. It's just normal. Nothing radical. It's just normal. But people to the left are saying that if you're anywhere to the right of this, so anyone to the right of that, so people in the middle are way to the right of that. They're saying you're way to the right. Well, they're lying. They're Fox is like here, but CNN is like way over here. And they're calling people that are maybe even left of center, they're saying are to the right. So keep that in mind when you're being called, well, a racist, or if you're being called, a right-wing extremist or something like that, that they're just so far to the left with their views that even if you are to the left of center, you're still considered to the right by them, even if you're to the left. All right? So Trump's like down the middle with everything. And that's why a lot of the Republicans don't like them. Look at the right-wing extreme Republicans, both socially and economically, look at him as sort of like a Democrat, maybe on some issues. So all of them don't even like him. And certainly the people on the left don't like him because he tagged himself as a Republican, and he's down the middle, which is, compared to them, a right-wing extremist. But he's not a right-wing extremist, and neither are most of you. You're just normal people with logical ideas, reasonable ideas regarding different issues. And yeah, maybe some are social issues more left or right. Those are more difficult. You're talking about ethics and social behavior and how we should act and things like that. You know, those are the more difficult ones. But economically, no, I don't want my shit built in China. I don't want to go into debt and borrow money from China and have their products fill up our stores being made by child labor. I mean, those types of things are the easy ones. I don't think I'm going to get anything on economics. I really don't. I hope to, though. I hope someone will come up with something. You know, there's no bad thinking. There's just different ideas, and then you talk things out, and that's how you get to the solutions. That's what this is all about. It's not about any kind of extreme thinking here. It's about acknowledging what the problem is and coming to reasonable solutions that we can hopefully all live with. Be safe. Have a wonderful evening. I look forward to any comments.